You asked for it. Here it is. It's a podcast from Apathetic Enthusiasm.
Coming to you live from September 4th, 2022. It's premiere day. It's also not premiere day. I was just kidding. I'm a liar. I am sorry. But let's pretend like it is actually the 4th of September. Is it Labor Day? I don't know. But this is Interdimensional IRSS, the unofficial Rick and Morty podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am Travis.
Hey, everybody. I am Brandon. And for those who are not in the United States of America, Labor Day is a day once a year that we celebrate. Sometimes we get a whole weekend for it. You don't wear white before it or after it.
After.
White
Never wear white after Labor Day.
That's right. Serial Mom taught me that.
Yeah. Of course, Labor Day being the weekend where we celebrate giving birth, the act of labor and producing children out of your uterus. So
That's right.
Happy Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day
to everybody.
I want to say thank you all for joining us. I think for our live viewers, there was a little bit of a glitch. I saw Travis's face go, which he does sometimes even when he's just talking to me. So I'm not really sure if there was anything very, very, very special. You know what? That's what it was. Travis is responding in the chat. He's saying, yeah, his music was jacked up. And by his, he means mine. 100% Brandon's fault. Incorrect. It was probably Zoom's fault because original sound is off.
That's right. And 100% Zoom's fault. So it's actually potentially my fault.
Actually,
100%
I know
your fault.
I know what the problem is. I'm going to go in here because suppressed background noise is on auto versus low or medium or high. And what that does is actually like when then I play the music, then it throws everything off, Travis, is what it does. So if you turn that off, by the way, this is our Zoom / Rick and Morty podcast. Anyways, all right, let's move on.
We have a very, very exciting episode to get to, chock full of news and information about season 6. That is why you are here. You're not here to hear about Zoom settings at all, right? We are in the month of August, which means we are less than a month away from a brand new season of Rick and Morty. And we will get into all of those details in just a moment. But before we do, allow us to share with you our social media links, just in case you're new to the show and want to follow along online. You can find us on Twitter at Rick and Morty Pod, over at Facebook.com/Rick and Morty Podcast, on Instagram at Rick and Morty Podcast, and you can email us with your questions at rickandmortypodcast@gmail.com. We are over on the official Rick and Morty subreddit at rickandmorty.reddit.com, or you can find our subreddit, rickandmortypodcast.reddit.com, and our website with every episode of this podcast is rickandmortypod.com. As we have mentioned, for the live viewers, we are streaming live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Apathetic Enthusiasm, where you can find all of our live broadcasts for all of our podcasts. And then over on YouTube, if you miss any of the live episodes and you want to see video, you can go to youtube.com/Apathetic Enthusiasm. Get all the live video right over there. Finally, a big shout out to the lovely people over at patreon.com/Apathetic Enthusiasm. Thanks to all the patrons who continue to support all of our podcasts. You guys are phenomenal. Thank you, Unity. Thank you for being here. And now I will turn the mic back over to Brandon to rest my feeble voice.
Oh, that's right, everybody. We are so dedicated to wanting to get this podcast up and running again right before season 6 that Travis is drinking a hot toddy because he has a sore throat. I'm assured it's not COVID and that he's not passing it to me as we speak.
How bad would it be if you could get COVID through Zoom?
That would be
because
Zoom,
because that would have ruined the last 2 years.
Like it would have ruined Zoom's stock. It would have gone bankrupt. We would have been using Skype for business still.
Ugh. That's right. So I have what's left of a now lukewarm toddy. I have some throat lozenges and a whole lot of water. We're getting through this episode because it's the season 6 speculation spectacular. Woo! So many things to discuss. But as we do in every episode, we have to start with those little bits that come up in on the internet, and that's why we are going to start this episode with semi-pertinent news.
It's just a semi-pertinent news. News. Na 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 woo 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 na 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 news.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a semi-pertinent news. That's right. We've got a whole big episode in the main thing later, but we got to get through some of this semi-pertinent news, and there's a good amount of it. So let's go ahead and start with what happened this last weekend. Originally, here's what was going to happen originally. We were going to talk about Adult Swim Fest as the main thing, but as things progressed, we realized there's more to talk about than just Adult Swim Fest. But let's go ahead and talk about that just a little bit. Of course, Adult Swim Fest has been going on for a couple years now, bringing in musical artists, bringing in panelists. This year is no different. Smiling Friends, some Brandon Small came out for Death Clock, Aqua Teen Hunger Force. So there's a Aqua Teen movies coming out. There's a Death Clock movie coming out. Smiling Friends go to Brazil. And of course, what is pertinent to us, at least semi-pertinent to the show, there was a Rick and Morty panel as well.
Yeah, and this was their first time like back in person, right? Like they had the original Adult Swim Fest out in LA. I think they did that once or twice, and then obviously COVID happened. They had to take the entire festival online, so now they're back and they're on the East Coast this time. They have a whole festival block party, different locations throughout Philadelphia, and you could buy tickets to different events and things like that. I was hoping, because of the access that we had over COVID, to see some of these artists, see some of these panels streamed live over on YouTube. I was like, maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe we'll get the same thing. Not really the case, unfortunately. So kudos to anybody that bought a ticket and actually attended the Adult Swim Festival. But let's talk a little bit about that Rick and Morty panel. If you want, you can head over to YouTube. I think the link will be in the show notes, and you can get a brief synopsis, a recap of that panel. It had Spencer Grammer, who, of course, is the voice of Summer Smith, as well as writer Nick Rutherford. Those were the two panelists. They talked a little bit about what goes into making the show, sort of their inputs and things like that. Did you get a chance to watch that at all, Brandon?
I watched the one clip that you sent me, the highlight video. It was 4 minutes long. I don't know if there was any more than that. That's all you sent me. It may have been an edited clip that you said. Maybe it was like 3 hours long, and you're like, I'm gonna remix this as they do on IMDb, Instagram, and I'm just gonna show you 4 minutes of one thing. Was there more publicized, or was that it for the most part?
When I went out to their YouTube, that was the only like video from the panel that you could see. So yeah, I mean, obviously some other things that we're going to discuss in this episode were talked about or shown in the panel, but really they only showed those clips from the panel for folks that weren't able to attend.
I see. So the clip that we're talking about, it is a clip of Nick Rutherford and Spencer Grammer, and they're just talking about I forget exactly how it started. I was trying to avoid an accident on the 405, but
that's smart. I mean, there was discussion. A lot of it was like with Spencer asking about, what it means to be a part of a show that is so popular, has so much reach. Asking a little bit about her process, like how Summer has developed over time, and how much of her is in Summer, and like how much Summer is inspired by her.
Yeah, and she talks about being a loser when she was in high school and knowing all these famous people, but then it's her and she's a loser. So she relates to Summer in that way. And Nick did stand up, and he answered first. He answered that question first. You're standing up and really just talking about community, being part of something greater than himself.
Women's rights, all the things that really, the foundational elements that really, when you think about Rick and Morty, those are the things you really think about. So
yeah. And Spencer saying that one of her favorite things is getting laid so much. That's kind of how she ended her
Sure.
portion of that
absolutely.
greatest hit. So anyways, good for her. That's what fame does to a person. Gets them randy.
Yeah. So
Doesn't matter.
Kudos to Adult Swim for putting together another great Adult Swim Fest, and showing me the Get Twifty episode on the live stream yet again. So great. It's great every time.
We do want to also mention Swim, I think it's Swimpedia on Twitter. I didn't put this in the show notes, but they did take a few of the notes from the panel of what we missed. Obviously, we know Spencer and Nick were there. They did show an episode from season 6 to the crowd there, and I think they locked up everybody's cell phones so they couldn't take video and what
Makes
have
sense. Based on those Ant-Man leaks that I'm seeing from San Diego Comic-Con, that was probably a good idea.
And so Rick, a Mort well lived, which is a reference to Roy, the game from Blips and Chits. Don't know what the episode is about. Haven't heard anything or heard any leaks yet, but they did show that. They also showed, and this is something we'll get into in the speculation piece. There was some merchandise that they handed out to some of the attendees there. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
All right. Well, again, if you were at Adult Swim Fest, if you got to attend in person, love to hear your thoughts. Hit us up on any of those social media links that we talked about before. But moving on, I don't know, maybe one day we'll get to go to another Adult Swim Fest in person. Who knows? We'll
they
see.
gotta come back out here, or maybe they'll have one in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, you should have a Midwest one next year. Adult Swim, get tons of attendance. I'm sure it'll be great. Anyway, moving on. All right, so High on Life. We haven't really talked about this on the show, but this is the new game from Squanch Games, which is the game company that Justin Roiland has helped stand up. So gaming news there, and then also additional gaming news that you snuck into this episode as well. I think we talked about it on the last episode too with Multiverses. But what are your thoughts on what you've seen for High on Life? Are you excited for this game? Do you think you'll play it? I don't know. What's your intent?
Yeah. I haven't played a first person single player game in I don't even know when the last time is. And even like with Fallout or the other Bethesda kind of sci-fi game, Fallen Lands or
Outer Worlds or something.
There you go. Yeah, Outer Worlds. No, Bethesda's coming out with a different game like Starfield or something like that.
Yeah.
Even though those are more role playing games, even those I haven't really been in the first person way for a while.
Yeah.
This one is interesting to me because although it is a single player game, since the guns are going to be talking to you, it's the same reason I wanted to play Trover and I never did.
Yeah.
It's just there's like superficial companionship where I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, I'm hanging out with somebody, I'm interacting, and then you laugh at whatever quips are being said. That is intriguing to me. So yeah, I do want to play it. What about you?
I will say Trover was a blast to play. Justin Roiland's voice acting and comedy come through in a big way in Trover. And it's a nice like non-Rick and Morty IP that can still feel very like Roiland-esque without having to rely on the world of Rick and Morty, right?
Yeah.
And I think they've turned that up a notch with this new game because the graphics look phenomenal. They look far more realistic. Obviously, you have the sentient like guns that look kind of hilarious, right? But yeah, I don't know. I absolutely want to play it and try it out. The one thing that is maybe missing, and I'm sure it'll be fine without it, is the VR aspect of Trover. It doesn't seem like it's present in this game, which is fine. That's maybe we've gone over the hill on VR and we're starting to coast our way out of the metaverse. I don't know, maybe or maybe it's here to stay. But yeah, I think it'll be fun. I'll definitely play it. If every Squanch game that I've played so far has been great, so yeah, definitely want to check it out. What do you want to say on Multiverses? Because I mean, we've played a lot more in the last week or two than the last time we had an episode.
What I was going to say on High on Life, just real quick on that, is I'm almost guaranteed to be able to play it. Whereas Trover, I didn't buy it. Like, part of it was finding a time to buy it or find a system to buy it on, because I don't think it was on Xbox, and my computer is not that great because I have a Mac and it's not for gaming. it's for audio. And yet. Well, I'll see when I get my new MacBook with the M2 chip. But High on Life, I believe it premiered at whatever the Xbox thing was a couple month ago. Since it's coming to Game Pass and I have Game Pass, I'm almost guaranteed to be able to play it, at least download it and load it up on my system, right? Mm-hmm. My Xbox Series 1X.
Why? Because I asked earlier because I was unsure. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you by asking if you had an S.
Yes, that was everybody who's listening, that was directed at Travis, not you. Because Travis asked me, very accusatory, like, which one do you have, the S or the X? Well, I'll tell you what, pal, buddy. I know, I wasn't that angry. I was just yeah, so I have an X. That's cool. But okay, so your question
Humble brag. Cool. So on that Series X that you use, you've been playing Multiverses. What do you think?
That's right, Multiverses. So I'm a Super Smash Brothers fan. I've always been a Smash Brothers fan. I played the original. I played every iteration since. And the one thing that I will say is the Smash Brothers clones that have come out over the years, whether on PlayStation, I think there've been a couple versions on the Xbox, and some of those knockoff. I say knockoffs, but some of those in that genre, they've never really appealed to me, and I think they haven't appealed to me because Smash Brothers was special because you're pulling in all these different IPs, and it's just the thrill of being able to knock Jigglypuff into off of the screen, or Bowser crush Link and make him explode down a cliff, right?
Yeah,
like those are super cool. Some of the genres, they had their own characters with their own unique spins on it, and because I didn't care about the characters, I didn't care about their lore, there was no reason for me to play. Now, what Multiverses does, for those who don't know, it's WB Warner Brothers game where they bring all the different Warner Brothers IPs together. So you got all the DC characters, you got Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. You have Cartoon Network things because Cartoon Network is part of the Warner Brothers. So you have you've got Finn, you got Jake from Adventure Time. You got Steven Universe in there as well. You got Bugs Bunny. You got Tom and Jerry, which is cool to me. But what makes this semi-pertinent for us, obviously, is that Rick and Morty are part of Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, part of Warner Brothers. So I downloaded it on the first day, and the very first level I played was the Cronenberg level, with the music playing in the background, the Cronenberg heads, or not Cronenberg, the Cromulon heads.
Yeah.
Excuse me, everybody. Cromulon world. Big speakers, Cromulon heads in the background, and that feeling of Smash Brothers playing with random ass IPs attacking each other. Yeah. Like, yes.
Some vaguely familiar music in the background, like I wonder if Ryan Elder gets like a music credit on this
Oh,
game.
maybe I'll shoot him a message and just ask. And I won't tell anybody, but I want to ask him. Yeah. So Rick and Morty are their individual playable characters, and Morty was supposed to come out this last weekend, but with Evo 2022 they delayed just a little bit. They're going to come out sometime in the season, and so I'm saving up all my gold so I can play as Rick or Morty. Rick is going to be a mage type character, and Morty's going to be a brawler or a bruiser.
Okay, all right, that's that affects my decision making on which one I would want to play. Also, whichever one you pick, I'll just pick the other one.
Yeah, my kid's like, I know what you're gonna main. I was like, oh yeah, what? Like Rick or Morty? I'm like, yeah, exactly. You don't know.
Duh, kid.
Yeah,
Multiverses is fun. Philip Marks saying in the chat, Multiverses is pretty fun. It is. My son's hooked on it. We play together off and on, from time to time. Yeah. He got the new Cuphead expansion finally, and so he's been working his way through that as well.
Delicious last course.
That's right.
DLC.
All right, that's your video game news, and now it is time to move back onto the internet for this week's Reddit post of the week.
I'm so glad that you have a sore throat and you're making me do all the talking today. I feel like I'm doing a lot of talking on this episode.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a fantastic
job. This week's Reddit post of the week. Yes, that's right. We're back. It means my role as a Rick and Morty subreddit mod is coming in handy again. As I'm sure they're like, stop talking, Brandon. But this week we have this post, which is titled "Debatable, but this is probably the darkest joke on the show," posted by Nialdude3. He's been on here before, I think. With a couple of awards, 93% upvoted, 20,000 upvotes totes. And the image is from the Whirly Durly conspiracy. It's those kids running around, and I agree with this. I think I agree this is the darkest joke in the show, where they're in that little void where you can't die at all.
Yeah,
you can do anything.
Yeah. You can't get hurt. You just heal up, no matter what happens.
At the beginning of the episode, the kids are chasing each other. The one dude shoots his sister, and then she gets back up, and then they laugh and they keep going off. And then later in the episode, when the force field goes down, they're still playing, and then the brother shoots the sister, and then she's just dead. I think it is probably. It is. I agree with that 100%. Because that makes me sad. I don't know. There's nothing funny about it. It's just tragic. Very bad thing.
I mean, it's a little funny. It's
not funny at all.
All right. In the comments on this post, some of the top comments include "Keep Summer safe." The officer's dead kid one was pretty dark as well. That was from Born Percentage 3319. And then others obviously referencing King Jellybean. Often talked as a very dark joke in the show as well. So yeah. There's some scenes with Toxic Rick. I don't know that they're.
Yeah, I went through a lot of these comments and they were like, well, this joke is actually really dark. But the thing about this joke that makes it the darkest joke is like there's nothing. There's like no coming back from that joke.
Yeah.
Like what is the real joke here? It's like an ironic joke. It's like the Twilight Zone with the books, right? There's time now. He breaks his glasses, and all through the Twilight Zone episode, the series, it's all about people getting their comeuppance, and he did nothing to deserve his breaking glasses and his punishment, his universal punishment. These kids don't deserve to
I don't know.
One kid has to live with it the rest of his life.
They're entitled kids at some fancy schmancy resort, taking life for granted, if you will.
Yeah, if you will.
Yeah.
Anyway, so congrats to Nialdude3. I think this is your second time that I've mentioned you on this show. So congrats for that.
Two Timers Club. Well done.
Anyway, that is that. If you have a nice, cool Reddit post that you think deserves some recognition, be sure to send that to us over at Twitter, Rick and Morty Pod, or rickandmortypodcast@gmail.com. Now, Travis, I've been talking a lot. Now it's your turn.
That's right.
Your moment to shine, the Dan Harmon Social Media Minute.
My voice is broke, but that won't stop me because I got a throat lozenge and we're, I don't know, doing the Dan Harmon Social Media Minute. Anyway.
Alien 3.
Alien 3. Go watch Prey on Hulu today. All right. Dan Harmon Social Media Minute. Obviously, Dan doing his thing over on Instagram. And boy, do we have a doozy for you today. Another contextual masterpiece from Dan Harmon. So let's head over to his Instagram where we see a caption that says, in all caps, outgoing temporal message from Harmon, Dan, Los Angeles, 2022, to Harmon, Dan, Milwaukee, 1982. Hey, it's you 40 years in the future. Everything goes great. You have a gajillion dollars and you live in your own house with a smart, hot lady that lets you see her boobs for free. And that one morning, you make a perfect dick and balls with your toothpaste without even trying. I have to go. Best life ever. You can skip college. So that was posted 5 days ago. Currently has just shy of 6,000 likes.
Wow.
But the photo is, of course, Dan Harmon's toothbrush with toothpaste that looks rather phallic in nature, if I do say so myself. And Dan certainly did. So, yeah.
He did. I thought it looked like a penis. You thought it looked like a penis. It must be a penis. It's a rule of thirds, they say in photography, right?
Yeah.
If three people see it, then it's a real thing.
Yeah, that's how photography works. Anyway, if you want to follow whatever Dan's up to on social media, the only place you can do that is to follow @Dan Harmon over on Instagram. He doesn't pay us to do this, guys. He has enough money already. He's got a gajillion dollars. You heard it.
Yeah. He doesn't give.
No.
We don't give him money. Although I saw an article where people are paying to be guests on podcasts, and yet we're fighting people to come on this show. We're bare knuckle boxing, like in that movie Snatch with Brad Pitt.
Before we move into our next segment, this episode brought to you by anyone that wants to pay to be on this podcast. That's right. If you would like to be on this podcast and spend American currency in order to do so, please hit us up at Rick and Morty Pod or rickandmortypodcast@gmail.com.
We talk about wanting to come up with new we're going to get here into the main thing in a second. We talk about podcast ideas from time to time, but I got to tell you, having a podcast or a website that is called "We're Pay to Be a Guest on Our Podcast" is, I mean, it's solid. It's solid. Even if it's like you can pay a penny, you can pay $100, you can pay $1,000 if you want to be on. And you start small, right? You say, shoot us a penny to our PayPal, and once more people start coming on, boom, then people are like, yeah, I want to pay $10,000 to be on this podcast.
It's like those donation sites where you just like pay whatever you think is appropriate for like the Humble Bundles, right? Where they're yeah, just pay what you think is right for this set of games, and you're like, cool, 25 cents. And then other people are like, oh no, there's a lot of hardworking people that put these games together. I'm gonna go ahead and spend upwards of $3 or $4 on these games, and or more, or they may spend more.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could do that on a new podcast that does not exist, nor probably will ever. Stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned. We'll be there. We'll be there for you to give us money.
All right, you Unity have been so patient as we've gone through a half hour of fun and semi-pertinent news. But it is now time, without any further ado, to get right into the main thing.
Museum? No. Martian? No. Mama? Not a mama. It's a main thing. Da 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 da.
All right, everybody, welcome to the main thing.
I was like, what other
Not the mama.
what other words start with ma? I don't even know. Probably none. There's probably no other ma.
Yeah, I think you hit them all.
Yeah. Well, welcome everybody to the main thing. That's right, the main thing. It is our alliterative title, Season 6 Speculation Spectacular. I know we use spectacular a lot, or extravaganza. I know I do a lot lately, and maybe it's because.
But are we wrong? Have we ever been wrong? I don't know that we have.
Yeah,
I think those are all appropriate names for our show.
I just turned 40, so I think the older you get, the more right about things you are all the time.
You're so old.
But I've never been more handsome. I age well, you know.
Salt,
Anyway.
and Peppa's here. Anyway, season 6. First off, we haven't even discussed this yet officially on a podcast. We have a freaking release date. We have a release date for season 6, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh!
If you have not been listening, if you have not been on the social internets, if this is the first time you've ever heard this, for starters, thank you for being a fan of the podcast. But September 4th, 2022, ladies and gentlemen, season 6 is back.
Season 6 is back. Wait, season? No, season.
I guess Rick and Morty's back with season 6. Like season 6 was never gone.
Yeah. Like, we were so excited to say season 6 is back, but really no, season 6 is here.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty are back.
Yeah, for season 6.
That was our episode.
And it was shared. It was shared with a picture of Rick and Morty lifting their shirts up to show their 6-packs.
That's right.
For season 6. Did you just put that together? Did you put that together?
Just clicked.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I honestly, it was hilarious because Brandon and I were speculating, strategizing, thinking, oh, okay, well, we didn't get a summer release for season 6. All right, maybe we're gonna get a fall release. That makes sense. Adult Swim Fest coming early August. They're gonna do a panel. Perfect time. You got San Diego Comic-Con, then you got Adult Swim Fest. Either one of these would be a perfect opportunity to do an event and announce the new season. And then they just released it on Twitter on like a Wednesday.
Yeah. On a Wednesday. And we were also kind of like, oh, maybe they'll actually just they'll start the season on Sunday night after Saturday, which in the promos for Adult Swim Fest, they said that they were going to have a premiere, a season 6 exclusive premiere.
Yeah.
And so we thought, oh, well, it being so close, certainly there would be leaks and stuff like that. Certainly it would come out that Sunday. Obviously it didn't, but we were kind of expecting that.
Yeah.
But September 4th is good. Is too, I guess.
Yeah, it's close. It's less than a month. We're a few weeks away. It's so exciting. Damn. Only a couple Rick and Morty podcasts away, realistically, from the show coming out. So, if you are not currently subscribed, make sure that you are ready to go because as much as we love doing Apathetic Enthusiasm episodes, we are going to be back on the train of weekly interdimensional IRSS episodes starting in September, and cannot wait to hear all of your thoughts as we review these episodes and everything that is to come in season 6. But with that said, there's still a lot going on, a lot to speculate about, and one of those things that we just kind of found out about and is happening now as we speak is Wormageddon. Yeah.
In semi-pertinent news, I mentioned the merchandise that folks got, and what that piece of merchandise is a poster, which looks like it's in the Citadel, and within the Citadel there's a glass tube, kind of like Prince of Darkness for my John Carpenter fans out there. But there's a green egg within this tube. That's what the poster looks like. Now, they also Adult Swim also released this short, maybe like 10 to 13 second video of the Evil Morty theme with zooming in on the Citadel as it's starting to fall apart in this tube where this egg is starting to like crack open and kind of jiggle or juggle or whatever, with the subtitle
Gyrate, if you will.
Wormageddon. Now, if you go to rickandmorty.com, there is a timer.
Yep.
With
Countdown, if you will.
Ooh, yeah, with some locked screens. It's got that video that we just talked about, and yeah, I mean, it's. What do you think it all means, Travis?
All right. Well, let's break down a couple of things real quick. The official time, and I did the math for you, so you don't have to. This countdown counts down to precisely August 19th at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Okay. So something is going to happen on August 19th on this website. That's still a good couple of weeks ahead of the season 6 premiere. And Rick and Morty has not shied away from doing alternate reality games and other sorts of social promotion, building up the hype for upcoming seasons. You had the Gronflamite website where it was like their social media from when they had taken over Earth between like seasons, what was that, 2 and 3? So I'm speculating, right? Speculation, spectacular. That on August 19th, we're going to get some sort of AR game or some sort of at least series of promotions and nods toward the events of the end of season 5, right? So the Citadel being destroyed, evil Morty, President Morty taking off and breaking out of the central finite curve, whatever this Yoshi egg thing is. All of those things I feel like are really going to help set the stage for episodes in season 6 because as we've heard, there's going to be much more focus on canon, on serialization in these episodes. So I think they're priming the pump, if you will, for season 6 by getting us back into the canon, getting us invested in some of the things that are going on so that as we see certain things in season 6, we can kind of tie those things together to stuff that's happened in the past maybe too.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the season 2, the season 3 break, because the Battle of Blood Ridge, all of that stuff, like the Instagram store, the Instagram piece where they had this ARG kind of thing, and then season 3 started and then shat all of it away real quick. Right.
Yeah.
But there was that hype as like, oh, there's something canonical that's going to happen because of this, and the joke was, no, there wasn't that much to it. However, when we talked to Scott Martyr, the executive producer, last year, he hinted at things being a little bit more canonical back then, right? And that was in season 5. Turns out, he was hinting towards the whole Evil Morty stuff, and forgoing some of those like standalone kind of bottle episodes and going towards lore dumps, Bird Person, and then the end of the Citadel, right?
Sure.
Now, there was an article on IGN with Royland recently where he talks more about this, and I posted it in Twitch chat. Not that our audio listeners can see that, but he says that he says, I will say that it's a bit more canonical. Although he says there'll also be good point of entry episodes as well. It really rewards fans of the show that have been watching up to this point. So it's like, I think we're kind of finally back into the rhythm of Rick and Morty. And I think season 6 is, I didn't particularly think season 5 was bad, but season 6 is fucking amazing. It really is a fucking quality season. And he talks also in this article about Mike Mandel, who passed away in the at the beginning, or like at the end of season 4, beginning of season 5, who was basically the line producer, who has been credited as keeping the show going for all these years up until that point. And Scott Martyr had a particularly difficult job, I think, coming into that, and taking over those reins. And with Roiland saying that it's kind of back into the flow of it, excited. The hype has never been stronger. Travis.
My sentiments exactly. I think the hype for the season is huge for me. I mean, we got a teaser trailer. I just threw it up on the live stream, but really most of that teaser trailer is all season 5 content, right? Like all clips from season 5, which to me could mean a couple of things. One, they're just really like close hold on what is being shown in season 6, and maybe we'll get another trailer, like, I don't know, on Wormageddon or after, just to hype the season a little bit more. But it's possible that they're really just saying, like, look at all this stuff that Rick and Morty have been through. Season 6 is building on those adventures, those experiences, how they've grown as characters, and now we're going to see how Rick and Morty face a new set of challenges with a new sort of partnership between the two of them. So really excited for that stuff.
Yeah, because you talk about the teaser trailer, which is just, it's showing a bunch of stuff that happened throughout season 5,
right,
leading up to the end of it, with the destruction of the Citadel, and then Rick and Morty talking to a big red spoiler box that say quit it. So I do. We have more to talk about, but I do want to briefly ask you a philosophical question. I think we talked about it in the middle of season 5, but this is more of a like addressing critiques of the show.
Sure.
Which is, how do you feel about the migration to a more canonical series versus the kind of Ryan Ridley, Dan Guterman era?
So I think it's all about expectation management, right? And I think for a long time listeners of this podcast will know that when people start theory crafting about every little piece of an episode, there are often times when we on this show will review an episode saying that was just a joke, or that was a throwaway line. It's not all interconnected. Like, jokes can just be jokes. And we had that opinion because of the interviews that we'd watched, the discussions that we had with people that worked on the show, so that I feel like we had a certain set of expectations that, like, episodes can just be episodes, and not every, like, we often would talk about Rick and Morty is not Lost, right? It is not one of those shows where everything is building towards bigger mysteries and bigger things like that, right? And obviously they have through lines with the Evil Morty episodes and other things that have happened across seasons where they've been able to link things together. Space Beth, Bird Person, Phoenix Person, all those things, right? They've been able to build canon into the show without having to have every episode or every scene build towards some bigger mechanic. But I think they're looking inwardly at the show and looking at the fan base who is hungry for that sort of stuff, right? If you read the subreddit throughout season 5, a lot of the criticism, a lot of the feedback was all, yeah, sure, this episode was fine, but where's Evil Morty? How does this pertain to the bigger things that are going on in the show? And I feel like they've embraced that part of it. And I think they're going to be okay with having more canon and bringing those connected serialized episodes together. And now that they're like out front with it and be like, okay, yeah, like we're gonna deal with this stuff, and we're gonna deal with it more often. But in doing so, we're gonna have weird adventures and go to weird fart planets and have really, like, classic Rick and Morty type jokes. And if they can balance that well, and from what Roiland says in that interview, it sounds like they have, I think it's going to be a phenomenal season. Not just for fans like us who we're fine with it not being all about canon, but also for those fans that have been looking for that extra piece within the theory crafting and everything else.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think the problem that they had with getting to be canonical is they almost needed season 5 to act as a transition season, a transitionary season, because they needed to lead up into a series changing event. When we talked to Scott, we asked about like a question about the overpowering and depowering Rick. How do you continue to write stories about somebody who fancies himself a god and is essentially a god who's doing, all this crazy stuff? Like, it's eventually you have to come up with contrived Superman ways of depowering Rick in order to create interesting stories about him. You have to have Rick's kryptonite.
Right.
And what we didn't know then, and we know now, is that it was all, and I think he alluded to this, it was all leading to the point of the end of the season where now we have a reason to make Rick a fairly, still a very, very intelligent person,
Oh yeah.
but now a human, where now he has to have, and I keep saying this, we haven't seen season 6, but like there is a part where it transitioned. Now we can have stories that are canonical because it matters if he dies. It didn't matter before because of Phoenix Project and this and that. Now it matters if he dies. It matters that him and Morty are now a team, so to speak, after season 5. And so, yeah, they have that major event that brings them together, and keeps us invested.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think we would like it if Rick like is completely like weakened, right, by the central finite curve. Like he's still got to be the Rickest Rick, right? But adding additional stakes to like it's that Superman argument. Like it's the reason why I don't love Superman movies is because who's gonna beat Superman? Only people with kryptonite in their pocket, right? So maybe we're gonna see some more of Rick's kryptonite in season 6. But if you want to hear, and I feel like it would be, I might go back and do this and listen to Scott Marter's interview where he talks about some of this stuff at the end of season 5. I think if you missed that episode, it might be good to kind of like get perspective for where things might go in season 6. That was the August 23rd episode of 2021, right? So that was almost a year ago, and here we are getting ready for season 6. But speaking of getting ready,
no promises, but I mean, I think that would be just a good. It would be awesome maybe to talk to him again about some of this stuff.
Yeah, we'll make some calls. We'll see if we can squeeze in a really good episode between now and the start of season 6.
I will take an audio clip of him saying, "Yeah, anytime, guys," and I will send that to Adult Swim and Warner Media to say,
I don't know if you're busy in the next couple of weeks, but you mind sitting down with us for an hour. All right. Before we run out of time on this episode, we do have some super speculation to do, and that is, of course, the episode titles for season 6. These have been floated online through some different forums and shared on Reddit and different places. But so we are taking a look at these presumed episode titles. We do not have official confirmation that these are going to be the actual episode titles, but I don't know. They sound pretty Rick and Morty-esque to me. It sounds like these could be the episodes.
Yes, and the episode titles, they have one of the episode titles that is confirmed, that was shown at Adult Swim Fest. So again, we don't have official confirmation. Somebody posted this in the subreddit, which was linked from, which is taken from like comicbook.com or whatever, which was a reference to like a random like indie web pop culture website. And so we don't know if it's official, but it seems official by all accounts. Anyway, so let's just go through these episode titles, Travis, and let's see what we think. And I noticed that you asterisked, you referenced what these titles are referencing as far as pop culture goes. So let's start with the first one, Bethic Twinstinct.
This is clearly the one where we're gonna get the Beth upskirt shot in the episode as a reference to Basic Instinct. I mean, this Beth and twin in the title, like this to me feels like it could definitely have some space Beth, Tale of Two Beths sort of plot line woven throughout, which could be really cool to see in a season premiere as well.
Yeah. Or throwing this out there, if it's not even a space Beth thing, and we find out that Beth actually has a sister, and in the history of Rick, we find out that sure his wife was killed and his daughter was killed, but he still had a daughter that survived. So
yeah,
who knows?
lot of possibilities there.
Ooh, speculation.
Yes.
Spectacular.
This next title was written on 2 lines and made us think that there were 11 episodes in the season, but then we actually read it, and and the Rictional Mortpoon's Rickmas Mortcation is a clear nod to National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, a family favorite in the Menard household for sure. Oftentimes, signaling the begin of the holiday season, the first viewing of National Lampoon's Christmas
Shitter's
Vacation.
full.
So, I don't know. Is this another Christmas episode? Could be. They do love their Christmas episodes over at Rick and Morty.
They do. I would love to see a full blown Christmas episode. I too like the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It is right up there. My wife, she made a mixtape for me one time with Clark's little speech, like, "Hey, I know what we could do. I'm gonna go right up to him," whatever.
We'll drive
like,
right over my boss's house.
and then he drinks eggnog. You're like, "Holy shit, where's the Tylenol?"
So good. Yeah, I mean, this could be a Christmas episode. It also could be a total, misdirect, and they could do something completely different. Yeah. Rick's
Maybe, it's a St. Patrick's Day episode. Looking forward to that. National Lampoon's stuff is if it's a reference to that, or maybe even like just a vacation in general, might be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, they could do a lot with National Lampoon if that is the intent. Otherwise, it could just be a clever title.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of clever titles, the next title we have is Full Meta Jack Rick, which is a reference to the film Full Metal Jacket, Stanley Kubrick, talking about Vietnam and such stuff like that.
Yeah, two ways they can go with this, right? War movie, sure. All sorts of references they can pull from there. But that word meta, full meta Jack Rick, meta may be the misdirect here, and it could be another like fourth wall breaking. Is this like an interdimensional cable type episode? Is this a return to form in terms of loose improvisational feels, right? I don't know. I would hope that one of these 10 episodes has something like that, but we say that every year. So who's to say?
I want to briefly mention this about Full Metal Jacket. Is that movie is renowned for the first, I would say, 20, 30 minutes, if that, being in the basic training with Arlie Ermy yelling his expletives, right? And then everybody remembers that part of the movie, and then it switches, and then nobody remembers anything about it. It's like that, whatever. So there's a possibility here, a very, very slim possibility, we're just speculating here, that it starts in one direction, a la maybe Rick Lantis mix-up, and then goes in a different direction.
Yeah, a lot of options there. Remind me to tell you a Full Metal Jacket story in the post show over on twitch.tv/Apathetic Enthusiasm. Okay. All right. Moving on. Our next episode title here is Final Destination.
Huh.
This one stands out to me because it's a movie title. And it doesn't have any of the, Rick, Morty character name type, weird rewrites of the title. So, curious, one, if this ends up being an actual episode title, and two, I don't know, what could it be about? Could it be about cheating death? Could it Could it be another horror genre type homage? I don't know. Time will tell on this one.
Yeah, yeah. Only time will tell. As you mentioned, like they could have at least said like Final Death Rick Nation or
Yeah,
something.
it's not hard. Like we write stuff like this now. Like we inject Rick and Morty into words all the time. So
I think people have complained before about like they don't need to have Rick and Morty in every single episode title, but it's like also like, is this a fake one? It doesn't have Rick or Morty.
yeah, can't be real.
What I will say about maybe speculation is it has destination in the title. At the end of season 5, they break away from the Citadel in the spaceship. What is that final destination for the Mortys? Who knows? Because there's a shit ton of Mortys that still live there.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like a Moses leading people across the
a bunch
forest.
of hunchbacked Mortys into their new
Forest of
home.
Mordor.
Yeah.
Okay. Rick, a Mort Well Lived is the next episode title. We talked about the game Roy, a life well lived.
Yeah.
But you have here Koki, a life well lived. I don't.
Yeah. So there's a book. I think it's called Cookie. I think is yeah. Like I maybe her name's Koki. But this
it's the Koki, like a cokehead.
This was a memoir to a woman that I believe was a journalist for a long time. But that format of the name and then a life well lived, we have seen it a few times. I think this is I don't know, this could be some sort of, memorial episode to a character. It could be a retrospective or a flashback type episode of Rick's life. I don't know.
I've confirmed this for us, Travis. It is in fact Koki, a life well lived.
Okay.
But it's about a person named Cookie.
Weird.
So I'm confused. Okay. So wait. Let me go to Amazon.
He's gonna go buy the book, everybody. And while he's doing that, while he's looking that up, I want to move on to another speculation episode. And that is the next episode that's called Night Family. All right. And this was another real tough one for me, where I wasn't sure what Night Family was referencing. Obviously, the Smith family tends to be the family in question, but why Night Family? And then I thought back to a moment back on the Harmontown podcast, so many years ago, when Dan Harmon was talking about him and was it Jeff Davis, that they were like riffing on the lyrics, possible lyrics for a 1980s show called Night Court. And if you were not born in the 1980s or were not around to see Night Court, this show was a comedy about people that worked in an overnight court, right? Like
a night court,
if you will. But
starring Harry Anderson and John Larroquette, who also did the voice, the narration for Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
There you go. That's true. But the theme song has no lyrics. So Dan sings their made up lyrics to Night Court. And then somebody went and put it over the music and put it on YouTube. I've included the link in the show notes, but we will not play it for you now, just so Brandon doesn't have to try and rip the audio and do all of those things. But yes, go listen to Night Court's theme with lyrics by Dan Harmon over on YouTube. Come to the Night Court, everyone.
All right. Well, I'm not going to rip the audio, but Travis did it perfectly for us. Next episode title is A Rick and King Mortar's Mort. Or A Connecticut Yankee or Kid in King Arthur's Court. I don't know if I know what the plot of that story is.
So if you have seen any movie in which a modern day citizen is mysteriously or miraculously transported back into the times of King Arthur, and they are forced to interact with the Knights of King Arthur's court using the sensibilities and knowledge that they have from today. This is all based on Mark Twain's original classic, The Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. More relevant to us is, like, I think the 90s movie A Kid in King Arthur's Court, where, like, a little leaguer, it's the kid from the movie, like, Angels in the Outfield, I think, is sent back to King Arthur's Court as a kid, right? And so basically, this is going to be the, King Arthur episode. That's my guess, right?
All right. What I'm hoping is that Martin Lawrence is a guest star on this episode, because he was in
Black Knight or something. What's that movie called?
Yeah, the 2001 hit movie Black Knight, starring Martin Lawrence. Here's hoping. I don't think there's any more speculation than that. I think it's basically confirmed at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next episode is Solar Rix, or you put Solaris. So there's some speculation here. So Solaris is a movie with that guy from Ocean's 11. He was Batman at one point in time.
George Clooney.
Yeah. Solaris.
Yeah, this is a George Clooney episode. It's probably gonna be a space episode. I think we have some of those in Rick and Morty, maybe.
Yeah, perhaps.
The speculations are getting a little loose here towards the end of the options.
Yeah, that's right. George Clooney, Viola Davis is in there. John Cho is in there. That's pretty cool. I don't know what the movie's about. I never saw. Oh, here's IMDb, what they say. A troubled psychologist is sent to investigate the crew of an isolated research station orbiting a bizarre planet. Now, with that, we can speculate, right? We can say that maybe Susan Sarandon comes back, but she gets transported to a spaceship to do some emergency therapy with the family,
which sets up perfectly my speculation for the next episode, Analyze Piss, which is a nod to Analyze This, in which Susan Sarandon continues to
two-parter
revive her role as a therapist. And this is maybe this is the episode where Rick finally realizes, like, stuff's not going my way. I can't do this all on my own. I need somebody's help. And it's not because he's eating his own shit, right? It's because he needs to work out some psychological issues, and so he's coming back to talk to the doc about all of these things.
Oh, that's brilliant, Travis, because she also specializes in coprophagia, right? I don't know what drinking piss, what that psychological thing is, but if she's a therapist for eating shit, then she's probably a therapist for drinking piss, and that's why she's in there. That's why she's in there. Going back, just have a second on Solarix. There is hopeful speculation, and I doubt this will happen because Hulu is owned by Disney, right? And Cartoon Network is owned by Warner Brothers. They don't own each other. That it is a Rick and Morty / Solar Opposites crossover episode. There's some hope for that. I don't personally see it being a thing, but knowing that Justin Roiland is so tied to both Mike McMahon, part of Solar, I don't know. I take that back. I don't think he was a big Solar Opposites guy. He's Lower Decks.
Mike McMahon was one of the original EPs on.
Okay.
Solar
All
Opposites.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for correcting me in front of all my friends.
You're welcome. Or I could be completely wrong, and then I'll look at it. Either way, I'm fine with it. I'm used to it. It would be cool if they could work a crossover. I mean, Disney owns half of everything anyway, so they could probably make it work.
Fair.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Well, so
all right.
the final episode. The final episode title we have here. I don't know what to think of this episode title because we've already had Anatomy Park.
Yeah.
But this title is Jurassic Mort, which is a obvious reference to Jurassic Park. Your thoughts?
Hear me out. Anatomy Park, clear Jurassic Park similarities between some of the characters, the signage inside Anatomy Park looks like a Jurassic Park sign. But what is lacking from Anatomy Park that is central to Jurassic Park?
John Hammond, the creator of the park, who dies in the original book by compies. You see, because he has a cane and he's trying to escape Jurassic Park, but then he trips, and the compies who they prey on the weak, right? They're scavengers, right? They're not hunters, but it's a weak animal, and he's dying. And I feel like Bob Odenkirk right there for a second.
Yeah.
He's dying, and the compies go attack him, and they kill him. Clearly missing from Anatomy Park.
Yeah. And dinosaurs. So I think one of those two things is potentially going to be a thematic element in Jurassic Mort.
What is so? Here's a thing, Travis. We went through all of the episode titles. We did light speculation, a spectacular on all of them. What at Adult Swim Fest they showed Rick a Mort Well Lived. Here on this list of episode titles, Rick a Mort Well Lived is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 episodes in. Did they show an episode out of order? Is that the premiere? And if it's a premiere, that means none of these episodes are in order, and it's a misdirect. What if Jurassic Mort, hear me out, is along the lines of like a Tremors or a Wormageddon, so to speak?
Very possible. Very possible. Yeah, we haven't even speculated that much about what's in that egg. Someone on Reddit thought it was finally the Cthulhu monster, the Cthulhu baby or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Good. Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, I think there's a high possibility that these episode titles are out of order. But I also think that it's possible that they showed a spoiler light episode at Adult Swim Fest, because I do think they're ahead of schedule on production for these episodes. I don't feel like they're struggling to finish the end of season 6 before season 6 is starting, which has actually been the case with some of the previous seasons, right? Mm-hmm. So there is a possibility that the first episode of this season is going to tie big into what happened at the end of season 5 and give a lot of details about where the season's going. And you're going to get a lot of that sprinkled throughout other episodes. But then there's going to be some episodes that are like in and out, quick 22-minute adventure, right? And if that's the case with Rick a Mort Well Lived, then you can show that episode even if it's coming out of the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't maybe tie as much into other things that are happening throughout the season. And so you preserve some of the spoilers without, you know.
Like those folks won't immediately go into the subreddit and be like, look, and I could say this as a subreddit moderator. Is like I see some of the reports and I see some of the things that we remove for this reason or that or the other, and like the team is big on removing spoilers, right?
Sure.
Big on keeping those out of there, keeping it as an unspoiled free environment as we can. And if there was something revelatory that was shown in that episode, I'm honestly quite frankly surprised that I have seen nothing come through the subreddit so far. Mm-hmm. Of what was shown and what came out. So they're either like, sign this contract and you can't talk about it, or you get sued, or it was interesting enough but not a like game changer. So I do Peace Among Ricks is out here. We were talking about Jurassic Mort a couple minutes ago. They say, is it supposed to be Jurassic World versus Jurassic Park? Which does change things a little bit, right? as we know, Jurassic World, Colin Trevorrow. It was a sequel, and then they came out with a trilogy, and it was okay.
Yeah, Chris
Good.
Pratt.
Chris Pratt. Maybe it's all Rick just putting his hand out to random animals and taming them just by putting his arm out and be like, huh?
Yeah.
Don't, huh? Oh, respect me. And that's 23 minutes.
Yeah, that's your episode, everybody. All right, well, that is probably gonna put an end to our speculation for this episode. But there are many other things to speculate, to include what's in that egg, what's gonna happen on Wormageddon, all sorts of other things, and I'm sure we haven't covered all of the possibilities. So if you have some thoughts, if you have some hot takes on any of these episode titles or any of the other things that we've talked about, please hit us up at Rick and Morty Pod over on Twitter. We'd love to hear your thoughts and include those in our next episode, probably our last episode before we get into episode reviews once again. But if you do that, we'll be sure to mention you on that episode in a segment we like to call Listener Suggestions and Short Outs. We have just a couple right now to discuss.
And also, we can guarantee that after we release this episode tomorrow, there will be new news, because that's how fast the cycle's starting right up to the lead up of Rick and Morty.
The good folks at Warner Brothers Media tend to wait until they see this episode released before they even hit send on any press releases.
Sometimes the minute of, they're like, here it is, boop, press enter, and then new news comes out and renders us obsolete. Okay, listener suggestions and short outs. So here's a special one. I mentioned the subreddit, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a kind of a special shout out. One of our longtime moderators, over there at the Rick and Morty subreddit, Rowdy, his daughter has been picked up to work on an animated show over at Nickelodeon. So she's going to be moving out here to sunny California. And so I just want to shout out to him, to her, for following her dreams and finding out the animated lifestyle. I think there's lots of like mallets, some anvils, some black holes. I've never been to an animation studio, except for Marvel, and there's lots of snickets and bamps. Yeah, so shout out to them and the family. That's really exciting. I did offer, if they need anything, then I can offer like some blankets or something.
If they have any dreams that they need crushed or anything, we can fast track that right away. So
nothing is good here. Everything dies alone.
Other short outs over on Twitch, NR_originals. Thank you for subscribing. Fellow Rick and Morty podcaster, thank you so much for supporting us and all of our endeavors. Also, Peace Among Ricks over in the chat, saying, what if the whole episode is a movie they watch on interdimensional cable, talking about the full meta Jack Rick? Good idea, maybe. They watch a full movie on interdimensional cable. That could be cool. Yeah.
Wait, like what movie? What movie would like an
Full Metal
actual
Jacket? They just watch Full Metal Jacket. They just watch the first 20 minutes, and then that's the episode.
What does
I don't know.
does the CFC being destroyed affect interdimensional cable? Did we talk about that before?
I don't. Maybe.
Does it-
Maybe they have access to more.
Oh
Channels?
yeah. It's like when you subscribe to like DirecTV, like the standard one. You get all these channels, but then you upgrade it and you get like the European stations. Maybe you get Central Asia. Like it expands exponentially. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's that whole episode is talking about DirecTV and their plan.
They're
The affordability is just it's astronomical.
that is an episode about Discovery Plus taking over HBO Max. That's what that episode is. So
Let's not talk about that. R.I.P. Batgirl.
That's rough. All right. Any other short outs you wanna hit on in this episode?
The last shout out I want to give out is to everybody who has stuck with us through the years. You are the real fans. We're here. We do what we can to talk about the show. But you've been a fan nonstop. And so thank you for just hanging out with us and sticking with us. And we're excited to talk to you over the next season, for the next couple seasons. And we have plans for the off season as well, compared to previous off seasons. So
yeah,
I'm excited not only for season 6, but season 6 off season and beyond.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening, Unity. If you're new here and you have not subscribed, if you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe, like, do all those things. But the biggest thing you can do if you've been sticking with us for all this time is tell a friend. Share this podcast either on your social media or anywhere. Help others to remind them that we exist and that we are going to be covering all of season 6 as it happens. So thank you so much. We're looking forward to another great season. And until next time, I'm Travis.
And I am Brandon. And thank you so much for being one of us. Unity. We're out.
Bye.
Original sound.
Hear it.
There's Matt. There's Matt Sizemore.